The kitten room is located in what used to be a studio or an office space, and we actually have dogs, two cats that are still getting introduced to each other, and just two humans around the house. So that's how the room is set up. It's just for ultimate safety. We don't let them all commingle. We rescued the cat. She was a feral stray cat that we brought in, and she had her babies with us, and we've been taking care of them. And this is the space as it is now, that they are over 2 months, about 2 months and a half now. And it's just kind of how it evolved. So I'm just going to share everything that we've done, all of the precautions, just as normal people trying to keep it budget friendly. So it might not be the cutest, but it's definitely a space that they have all enjoyed, and we've enjoyed sharing with them. So welcome to our kitten room. Now the first thing we have is this outside gate, just for safety, so that we can open it up and come in as needed. But if one of the cats or one of the dogs, either outside or inside, kind of comes visit, then they won't see it. Then I also have this netting that's to stop them from trying to push their heads through, and that's all attached with like yarn and making little holes on the netting. Then to open, we have this barrier. So at the bottom I have some plastic sections, and everything is taped together, especially these bottom parts, because as they adventure more, then it makes it harder for us to control where they are. So it just helps us keep them centralized in their room. Then here, this is an actual litter box. When the litter runs out, we put a gallon of water inside, and then we have some rice and then one more water, just to keep it all kind of with the force against these cubes, so that they can't move it or open it essentially. So this is like our little lobby area, because then here, then we can see exactly where the kittens are before entering. So on the other side of the door, now that I stepped in, this is basically like the mechanism. We have one litter bin on that side, and then one litter bin on this side with a gallon of water, and then we just slide it in until there's just no visible space. And then on this other end, I also have this plastic, which is from like leftover cubes, taped up to cardboard for extra durability, and some other 2 layers of plastic. So that's the setup there. Then at the bottom, we strategically put all of these bins against the wall, again to give this side here some strength. And then the holes in between, I filled them up with some random items, such as these little stickers for our online shop, and same on the other corner. Just really trying to protect those cords. Like even this power supply, I put it above because I didn't want them to actually pee. It took a while for 2 of them to start being potty trained, so we just didn't want any accidents with the electronics. Then going towards the other side, I put my printer here at the bottom, thinking that they could use it as a lever or as an edge, because when they were really small, they couldn't really jump high. So this would give them a little bit of exercise. And then I used these, this really tiny box. So like this little box, so it could be like a step from here to there, and then to here, and so forth, just to get them used to climbing. Again, giving them the maximum space without sacrificing their kittenhood. Then we have another bin here that Mom likes to lay in, and then we come to a tree, which has been absolutely amazing. This was actually given to us by a really kind lady who was selling her tree on Facebook Marketplace, and I explained to her that this was kind of an unexpected thing that mom and her kittens would love to have this, and she was kind enough to give it to us. And like for the first month and a half, this didn't this top part didn't get used. So I used to hide, not really hide, but try to protect the little wings that I gave them here on the 3rd floor. So that way they didn't get pottied on, they didn't get messed up until they were actually ready to play with them. And these wings are special because they do have a sibling who didn't make it, so I made these wings out of the same material of the little bed that I made for him. Or so we just keep those there. Every day I do a count and make sure that I have at least 4, so that when each of them goes to their homes, their adoptive homes, then they will each be able to take one. And there is a 5th one that's that's probably hidden under our cubes, and that one is for Blanquita, but I made one for every single one. Now on the table I just left it just empty space that they could relax and enjoy the window. Outside of the window I have, they're like little plant holder things, and I buried them so I could put a bowl for birds. And then I have a little makeshift bird feeder using it's like a strainer, it's like a flat strainer, but just so birds can come and say hi to them. And then as far as the desk goes, I had to get rid of everything here because they love to play with anything at hand and paw it everywhere. And then I'm like a knick-knack person. Over here in the back I used to have some paper and some paintings that I had made, but one of them started trying to potty here. So I put this little Tupperware because they like to sleep on it, so that way they would associate this area as a safe, no potty space. Then from there, this little coaster they'll usually use as a little pillow in the mornings as I work with them. That's kind of what they like to do. And of course here in the other side of the barrier, right by the entrance, by the lobby, I had to put all of these water bottles to stop them from jumping over, because little Grisecito, he used to actually jump to the other side. So I put all of these and he still jumps, so then I put tinfoil and that has actually stopped him. So even though it looks a little crazy, it has helped us control them a lot. Now as far as their litter boxes go, we originally started off with just the one in the corner. This was purchased at a like a garage sale, and like it came out really good, super handy, because at first if you go through and look of any of the baby videos, you'll see that we didn't have this. All that we had was something like this one with those plastics attached and taped to it. And when we put this one out, it was mainly for mom, because since she's a stray feral, we didn't know how she was gonna react to it. She got used to using it, so she used it, then Junior used it, then Grisecito used it, and then the other two were just stuck. They would not come into this litter box. Even when we did things like next to it, like keeping it open or try to take off the lid, whatever it was, it just didn't work. So that's why we ended up with this other litter box. Then on the side, we did end up putting this food and water bowl, because here, since they do need that open litter, they think this is actually like a sandbox, and they'll play here and run and do everything, which is, it looks really messy. But we clean this room twice a day for 45 minutes, 2 people. So this is all just after a couple of hours of them playing, but they go wild. So everything flies everywhere, and of course we don't want the food to get contaminated. So we just have it here in the corner, and then usually what ends up happening is that the mom will eat from the other side, and then somebody else will eat from this other corner, and they can eat there. And then since we're also raw feeding, then I keep these bowls. So these bowls I put it overnight on the freezer. Then the food that's inside is cold and frozen, so throughout the day it stays fresh. And then in the mornings I also put in cold water to keep it extra fresh. And then they just eat from there as needed, because you're supposed to always have access, like give kittens access to food. So that's what we kind of went with. And then it's all the toys. All of these were either free or they came with one of the little, like all of these, and this little beaten up one, and this little mouse. It was actually given to us by this other lady that gave us this little, I don't know what it is, this hideout. And this hideout was great, especially as they were growing up. They used to love climbing on this and just going crazy, and they still do. And we put a ramp to make it easier when they were smaller. Now of course they can jump, but that's kind of how we went through it. This little ball used to be Shinobi's. My mom actually made this for her. It's in our crafting channel. But Blanquita, she started playing with it and she really loved it. And just after all the traumatic things that she'd been through, it felt right to keep it for her. And we'll just make another one for Shinobi. And this little space guy, he is missing one of the balls, which is why there's like this purpley one. And it's missing, but it was fine. I got this at a thrift store for like $2.50 or something, so it was perfect. The kitties, they're not super wild about it, but it's still a good choice whenever they're bored overnight. Sometimes you do see them play with it. Then we have these mouses. They came in a group of 4, also from like the same place that we got the little the litter box at. So we got that, and these are mom's favorite, like the Blanquitas. She loves these, and sometimes if it's just the right mood, I'll dip them into the catnip and they just go crazy, and it's great. So we have those. Then we have these little duckies that were like a for free section at a thrift store, and they just like to like paw them around. Sometimes they seem to really like this one, and there's a little bear somewhere that they also like to play with. Then these hearts were actually made by us, and they've been loving them, so we're actually gonna make them also for our shop and put some catnip in them, because they seem to be very practical as a kicker, and then as a hugger, as a pillow. And they've used these a lot, so we're gonna keep on making them. Over here in the corner, these are all toys that like they just move around throughout the day, but this is actually where 3 of them were born, in this little cubby here. And we have a little ball, and these little things, if you need like a toy for kittens, this is, I'll probably make a short out of this for a craft channel, but this is really neat. It's just one of those like wire things, and then I crossed them together, made an X, and then with my finger just made the little loops, and they love playing with these, both kittens and adults. So they have this little toy that they inherited from Shinobi, and this one that we had also handmade that they've also been enjoying. So there's like cardboard on it, but yeah, we're gonna try remaking some of these too, and adding little thingies to them to make them extra fun for kitties. And definitely not last, we have this baby toy. So baby toys are a great resource for if you're on a budget and you're trying to get some good kitty toys. This is definitely a good alternative. And then over here, of course, because of the window and their size, they do like to hang out right over there and just sleep, nap. And then we have the cameras. We have this camera that faces the door, so we know exactly what's happening, if they're trying to get out or if they're playing. And then we have a top camera so that we can see everything like below here. Make sure that mom is okay, and all the kittens, of course. And this is the final product of just seeing how they react, how they interact with the space, and them enjoying. So hopefully it serves as inspiration and just budget-friendly options that you can consider if you're also trying to foster yourself, or just end up in a situation like ours where you just feel like you have to take care of them and find them good, loving homes. And that is basically the tour of the kitten room and just how we have it set up. I would say that if you're making a kitten room yourself, then maybe you also include a cardboard box for mom to be safe in. Again, you can refer back to all of our videos on the kittens, and you'll see the cardboard box, the crate, all of the processes that we went through to make sure that she was comfortable. But yeah, I think a box would be helpful, especially if you're like took in a stray cat situation. It would be very good to have. And yeah, there's also some kitten room cleaning essentials that would be good, but that's a whole separate video on just good things that we have found that helped us save some money while taking care of these little ones, so we could get them fixed before sending them off to their families. Alright, I guess it's time for kisses for Junior. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you at least got a little bit of inspiration and you found it helpful. And if you're going through this, just know that it does get pretty tiring sometimes, but they're definitely worth it. They can feel all the love and all the care that you give them. Just know that the stress is worth it.